Not everyone who shows interest in your business is necessarily ready to buy. And so, lumping all leads in the same bucket and treating them in the same way is one of the biggest mistakes business owners usually make. And so, we're going to have a conversation about lead quality. And this time, the 4 types of leads that every business owner or salesperson is going to encounter. Now, this conversation is so you can recognize these 4 different types, know exactly who you should focus your attention and energy on and who you should not. So if you're ready, let's dive right into it. So we've been going through the 4 pillars of business growth, and we've talked about offer quality so far. We've also looked at lead generation, and now we're focusing on lead quality. And in a previous video, we talked about the 3 signs that help you spot a lead who is ready to buy. And we mentioned they need to have a specific and a real problem that they want solved. The second was that the urgency around the problem should be high enough. And the third was that they should also have the means to pay for the solution. And so we want to go a bit further in lead quality, because it's not just about knowing the signs to look out for, but it's also about having the ability to read the people that you interact with, because not all leads are the same. That's one concept we need to quickly embrace. Not all leads come the same. And so in my experience, as well as conversations with other top business people, the interests that come for what you do or your offer almost always falls into these 4 types of categories or groups. And so we're going to go through them. And for each of these groups, your response and energy towards them must be different. The first type of lead that you'd encounter is the curious type. The curious type. So for this type of lead, they probably would have come across your website or your content, or even come through a referral, and they like what they see, they like what your offer is about, and they're interested. And so they've sent in an inquiry and you engage them. But as you dig further, you start to realize this not a real problem, or the problem is not specific enough. Also, the urgency around it, there's nothing really happening in their life or in their business careers that is driving such a decision. And so for such a person, they are simply curious and exploring. Think about how we go window shopping, right? You go through the shelves, you look at stuff you're interested in, but there's not really the appetite to purchase anything. Or how would browse through an online store, right? You see a couple of things you're interested in. You probably even add some to your cart, but then you just close the tab and then proceed with your day. And so this type of lead is really just browsing. How do you engage such a lead, or what response do you need to give to such a lead? 2 things. The first thing is that do not dismiss them. Okay, do not dismiss them. But also do not chase them. Right? So what do you do then? Remember, their situation now means they are not ready to buy. But that can change. That season can change. So many things can happen and they become ready to purchase. So what you need to do then is you need to court them from afar, nurture their attention from afar, so that when they are ready to buy, you will be top of mind and they'll want to engage you. So remember, do not dismiss them completely, but also do not chase them. All you need to do is to plant seeds and have in mind that it's possible you can harvest from those seeds later on. So that is the curious type. Now, the second lead type that we need to look at is the time waster. The time waster. Okay, now this one is a dangerous type. The reason I say that is they look serious on the surface. It looks like they're really interested, they're ready to buy. And so you engage them, they usually have a lot of questions, and that makes you feel, well, they're super, super interested. And so you go down that rabbit hole with them, answering a lot of questions. They'll probably request for a proposal. You take your time, you spend energy, you prepare all of that, share documents with them. They probably want a follow-up meeting or a call to ask even more questions. And so usually this can go on sometimes days, weeks, and even months, right? But you realize there's not a decision that is arrived at. So throughout that entire process, it gets to a point where either you're just being ignored or you don't hear from them. And so this is a dangerous one because you can easily end up wasting a lot of time and energy on the time waster. So how do you respond? How do you position yourself for such leads? What you need to think about is, because they have a lot of questions, then you need to also be able to qualify or filter very early in a conversation. What does that mean? Ask specific questions and direct questions upfront. And so, what is the problem that they are looking to solve? When do they want to have that problem resolved? How much money are they looking to invest in solving such a problem? What is the budget range that they are considering? All of these questions is going to help you easily understand where they are. And by answering these questions, they're going to expose or reveal themselves. And you also will clearly know whether they are worth the deep conversation and the back and forth or not. And so be careful of this one, the time waster. You can easily end up spending your time, energy, and sometimes even money and get nothing out of the deal. All right. Now, the third lead type or group that we're going to look at is the almost ready. The almost ready. The almost ready. And so, just like the name suggests, this person is almost ready to buy. Usually, this group needs a lot more of your attention because they are genuinely close. They have the specific problem, it's real, it's a painful one. The urgency around the problem is high enough so that they want to solve it right now. And also, they do have the means to invest in a solution. But there's just something that is holding them back. So, whatever it is, there's a gap between the decision and the interest that they have. Now, it can be that they are not too sure that you are the best person to solve that problem or whether your offer is the right one. It can also be that they've been scammed before, or someone promised similar results like you're promising and never delivered. And so, based on their experiences, based on their thinking level, based on their personal situation, they've not been able to make that jump yet. And that is why I say this person needs a lot more of your attention. So imagine that you are standing by the poolside, the edge of a pool, and you really want to get in. You believe that if you do get in, it's going to be exciting and comfortable enough, but you've just not found the courage to jump into the pool, right? And you're hesitating. Now, in that situation, I'm sure you'll be super angry if someone is to push you into the pool. That is not what you need. right? You need someone who can tell you what to expect if you do jump into the pool and be honest about it. And so for such a person or for this group, they don't need a sales pitch. What they need is an honest conversation, a conversation around what they can expect if they do make the final jump. So this group or this lead type is one that usually becomes your best client if they do close, because they didn't enter into the decision blindly, but they were able to consider a number of things. They had real hesitations or reservations about it, and finally were able to cross that gap. So your response to this group is usually one of an honest conversation. Now, it could be that your offer is not the best to solve the problem that they have, and you need to be able to be clean about it, and you need to be honest also about it. So that's the almost ready group, and that's one lead type that's super important, and we need to understand the response and the posture towards them. Now, the fourth group or the fourth lead type that we're going to look at is the ready buyer. The ready buyer. And so this is the group that everybody is working towards. If you can have more of your leads who are ready to buy, this is usually the best scenario that you can find. So for this group of people, they have all the three signs that we spoke about. They have a specific and a painful problem. They also have real urgency around that problem. They want to solve it today. Something has probably happened in their lives for which reason the situation they find themselves in now is too costly for them to ignore. So there's real urgency. And then also they have the means to invest in a solution. So all of the three signs are available. It means that they are prime, they are ready to buy. For such a group, they are not exploring, they are not browsing, right? They are also not hesitating. All they are looking for is the right person who can produce the results that they desire. And so if you are the right person, then the conversation is going to be very easy. It's also going to move very fast, right? So for this group, it's more of a reward of all the work you would have put in place, starting from all the pillars that we've talked about. So if you invested in putting together a strong offer, right? Your offer is quality. You have put in place systems to generate leads in quantity. And then also you are investing in lead quality as well and lead conversions. So when all of these pillars are coming together nicely, then you get to produce more and more of this lead type or this lead group. And so the ready buyer is what we want to be producing more of. Now, the response to such a group is quite a simple one. Because there's not much to do, it's about listening to them, understanding where they want to go, and just placing in there how your expertise can get them there quickly. So there you're going deeper into the problem they have, and you're also trying to understand the transformation that they seek. And so if these two things are there, then very easily the decision is made. Now let's recap quickly so that we can wrap up. We've talked about the 4 types of lead that you usually encounter. And we said the first one is the curious type. And here we said this group, they are browsing, they're exploring. They are interested, but they're not ready to buy. And so your response for this group is simply to not dismiss them, but also not to chase them. And so what you need to do is to nurture them from afar. You can court their attention so that when that season changes and they're ready to buy, you will be top of mind. And then we came to the time waster And here we said it's one of the dangerous types of the group that you can encounter. And here we are saying they look serious on the surface, but a decision never comes. So they take you through this rabbit hole of endless questions and get you doing so many things up front, but they never close. Your response for this group is to qualify early. You need to spot very early in the conversation whether they are worth it or not. How do you do that? Ask direct questions. So questions around what problem are they looking to solve? When do they want to solve that problem? And do they have the means or the budget to invest in a solution? Now, that way you get to reveal what they're thinking or where they are very quickly, and you can make a decision for yourself, especially early enough. Okay, and then we talked about the third group, which is the almost ready group. And here we said this group usually will need a lot of your attention because they are genuinely close. They are interested, they want to take the plunge, but something is holding them back. So here you need to discover or find out what the hesitation really is. And our response here is to have a real and honest conversation, right? Not a conversation trying to just push them into our offer, but understanding really what is holding them back and having addressing it in a very honest way. Okay, so that's the almost ready group. And then the final group we talked about is the ready buyer. The ready buyer. And here we said it's a reward of all the pillars, having invested in all the pillars, having a strong offer, creating a good lead generation system, also investing in lead quality and a filtering system. And so the signs for this group is that they have a specific problem. It's painful enough. They want to solve it now, not 10 months or a year from now. And they also have the means to pay for such a solution. And so our response here is simply showing the way forward, right? We just try to understand deeply what the problem is, what transformation they are seeking, and we let them understand what the way forward is to getting your product or your solution working for them. So those are the four types: the curious, the time waster, the almost ready, and the ready buyer. And we mentioned that one of the mistakes that many business owners and executives make is that we treat all of these four groups the same and give the same response, invest the same time and energy. But now, once we are identifying them, then it's about what lead type am I interacting with and what's the response that I need to give. Knowing this helps quickly recognize, and so that we don't waste time, waste a lot of energy. All right, so you found this video helpful. Just go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.